up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and I have a special car. And the reason why, one of the many reasons why it's special, is because actually, believe it or not, one of my old students that graduated a few years ago, Vilmos, he called me up. He's like, hey, I think I have a car that maybe some of your subscribers would want to see. And it was actually like meant to be, because a week before he contacted me, some people reached out and they were like, can you bring an SI? And they didn't want a brand new SI. They could go down to the dealership and see brand new SIs. They wanted that 9th generation SI. Now, let me give you a little bit of history lesson before we dive into this 2015 Honda Civic Si. So Honda's been around for decades, right? You know, they really have put a stamp on that performance with the balance of fuel economy, with the balance of pricing. And I think really they created their own little cult following when they had the Civic and put the SI badging on it. Now, if you're wondering what does SI mean, it actually means sports injected. And that is 100% true, because what they're doing is they're taking their technology and their understanding of engines that they've developed through Formula One and Indy cars and everything else, and they brought it to the street, and they brought it at an affordable price for people to be able to enjoy on an everyday basis. So we're now up to our 10th generation. If you go and you look at a brand new Si, this one being the last of the 9th generation. So 9th generation was built between 2014 to 2015. 2016, there wasn't any Si. And then in 2017, they came out with the redesign. There's still many people that actually love the style, the performance of the older Si compared to the newer one, because what's wonderful about this Si, it's that naturally aspirated. This one has a 2.4 liter inline 4 VTEC with that high, nice RPM. You're looking at 7,200 RPM redline. Don't have to worry about turbo boost kicking in or any of that other stuff like on the newer generation. So if you're ready, I'm ready to dive into this beautiful white 2015 Honda Civic Si. Let's check out the front. We're gonna start with the front. So I really liked, you know, some people felt that some of the styling was getting a little bit more muted with the Civic, but with the Si, I really like what they were doing with the lower fog light area. This is something that on the Type R, I really felt like they should have went more this route. As you can see, there's a little bit of fake vent there, but most of the real estate is taken up from this nicely shaped fog light. You can see Vilmos added some tinting to the lower fog light, give it a nice yellowish hue, different appearance. And that's what's great about this. You're gonna notice from front to back, top to bottom, this thing is bone stock, except for some nice styling appearances. This is his car, his baby. He wanted to just add some touches to it, not really change a lot. I like the piano black lower lip spoiler here. I like the way it blends perfectly into the rest of the nose of the car. There's that traditional bright red Si badge, sports injected. That's what it stands for. You can see Vilmos took some flat black and plasti dip this area. That's going to help break it up a little bit for him. He thought there was a little too much silver going on. And to be honest with you, I think it looks spot on. I think his choice of going the flat black route really just cleans up the whole front of the car, especially with the style of the headlights for this model year having a lot of reflective material in the back. I think if you have too much shiny other material, it kind of takes away from the whole design. But I really like the front end of the business here. Very simple creases into the hood to give that extra aggressive look to it. And remember, what's great about this is a lot of this is all Si specific to separate you from that mundane regular Honda Civic that some people would just use as an A to B car. This car has some performance that goes along with it. Speaking of performance, you get a nice 18-inch wheel. I really like the design that they had with the gloss black and the brushed aluminum finish. Vilmos went ahead and painted the calipers red. He was on the fence about that. When he pulled up, I thought that was a Honda done thing, because it really just fits well with the white and the style of the wheel and the size of the wheel. So very, very nicely done. As we work our way down the side, I really like the corner windows here. These quarter windows gives that extra visibility, kind of breaks up the amount of plastic that's on the side. Now you could see he added the rain deflector, which I think was a great choice. And I think that's something that a lot of you that have a 14 or 15 Si, if you don't have one of these, you can see how it really cleans up the look. I also like the way he went and had the roof wrapped in black, especially because it comes with a sunroof. I think if this was all white and then you have the sunroof, it would kind of stick out like a sore thumb. It really blends in nicely. And then another piece that he added on was this nice kick-up roof spoiler here. Nothing aggressive, nothing crazy with vortex generators or anything like that. Just enough to give you a little bit of a difference in the separation of style. As we come around the back, this is a nice, very nice, tasteful wing from Honda. Really fits well with the back of the car. He went ahead and did some light smoke tint on the lenses of the taillights. I think that was spot on. I think if this was not done, it'd be a little too much red. And it really just allows like the SI badge to just pop with bright color against the white. And I like this lower diffuser part down here. Now, if I was gonna make a change personally, if I was Honda, which obviously I'm not Honda, but I would like to see a dual exhaust. Just single, one on each side, kind of balance it out. Other than that, I really like the styling of this 2015 Honda Civic Si. If you're ready, I'm ready to check out the changes that they did for that 9th generation under the hood with the 2.4 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder engine. Let's go check it out. All right guys, here we are underneath the hood of this 2015 Honda Civic Si. There's that 2.4 liter, that inline 4 naturally aspirated. So if you're used to getting a lot of torque, say at 3,000 RPM, this car is not gonna make you happy. This is for somebody that knows what they're getting into. When this thing gets up in the rev band range, and that's when that VTEC kicks in, that's where you get that full 205 horsepower. Remember, redline is 7,200 RPM. This was an increase from the previous generation. So previously it was a 2 liter. They bumped it up 0.4 to try to get a little bit more torque in that lower RPM range. It's sort of like what they did with the S2000 range. You know, you got that AP1, the AP2, sort of like that. And you can see, you know, take this for a drive, you would notice the difference between this and a previous generation. But I like the way he has it totally stock, totally clean, nothing out of place. Honda knows what they're doing at the end of the day when it comes with these types of engines. Speaking of this engine, let's hear what it sounds like. Alright guys, I'm inside this 2015 Honda Civic Si. Let's start with the door panels. You can see the material that Honda was using in 2015. I do like the darker material with the red contrast stitching. If I was going to call a zonk on the door panel, I would like to personally see some leather on at least the armrest, just because that's a spot that gets a lot of wear. You can see Vilmos added some carbon fiber wrap to the door panel to kind of mimic what was going on in the dash, and we'll show you that in a second. You know, there's a lot of debate over the instrumentation in this car. Some people love it, some people hate it. Hey, I think it's cool because it's just unique. I like the nice leatherish material that they use on the top of the dash. I do like the way that it flows into this top area, and you'll see in a second how there's a differentiation between the tachometer and the speedometer. On the center console area, the center stack, large infotainment screen. I like the way that it's tilted towards the driver. And a lot of Honda products, especially like the S2000 and definitely this Si, pointed towards the driver, driver focus. It's got nice, simple AC controls, easy to understand. There's that wonderful 6-speed transmission. Now remember, if you don't know how to drive stick, you're not going to be driving one of these SIs because they only come in manual. I do like the feel of the gear shift knob. I like the short style throws. Is it as short as, say, a new Type R or, say, a Honda S2000? No, but it's got a nice feel to it, and each gear engagement is nice and crisp. Very simple around the cup holder area, and then you have a nice matching armrest that goes with the door panel. Now, like I said, if I was going to call a zonk, I would like to see this in leather. Very nice seats. Now, these seats are very comfortable. They do have some bolstering. Could there be more? Of course, but I think if there was more, you'd probably go get a Type R and then you'd say, oh, there's two more, too much. So this has just enough. I like the red with the black, and I like the way that they do the embroidery with the SI logo. If you're ready, I'll have Tom come over and show you the business side over on this end. All right, guys, here is the business end. I like the size of the steering wheel. In 2015, there was no gimmickry really for the SI with a flat bottom, but I like the shape of it. It has a very nice thickness to it. I like the way they have the SI logo located right there. And there's not a lot of buttons sticking out. Yeah, you have your phone and whatnot, but it's kind of tucked in and pushed back. I really, really like how the tach is right there smack dab in the center. Like I said, this thing, naturally aspirated, it redlines all the way to 7,200 RPM. This is really cool. This is actually my first time sitting in a 2015 Si. I love the speedometer area. It almost looks like it's three-dimensional. I want to wear a pair of those 3D glasses when I drive this car, which will probably blind me in the sun, but you know, the style of it just looks really futuristic and cool. Very easy to understand. Check out the carbon fiber. Now, this isn't real carbon fiber, so don't get too excited, but Honda does one heck of a job with their faux carbon fiber. Here's a button you like to see, that traction control off. So you could shut off some of those nannies that keep everything reined in. You could go do your track day. You could do your autocross event. I like the red start stop button, and just the way everything else is laid out is perfect in this car. I don't know about you, I'm ready to take this one for a spin. All right, guys, we're in Vilmas's 2015 Honda Civic Si. First time driving an Si. I really love the clutch pickup in this car. I'm in second gear. He told me to give it a little bit of juice. Here we go. Take it up, you feel that VTEC kicking in, and then you shit the gearbox. The gearbox in this car is like butter. Honda, I don't know what they do, if they work with a company that makes butter knives or what the story is, but with their gear shift levers, I don't care if it's a Type R, a Civic Si, they shift so wonderfully, and I just like the smoothness. I think for especially somebody who maybe doesn't have the best manual skills, this is a great car to transition into because it's just gonna make you a better driver. And you know, when I used to race cars, when you get into a race car, you don't just get into a 1,000 horsepower race car. You build your way up to it and it makes you feel more comfortable. But I love the layout of the dash. It makes sense. You know, from a styling standpoint, maybe some people look at the dash setup and they say, whoa, what's going on there? But it makes sense because the speedometer being right above the tach, you got the tach, which is the most important thing when it comes to control of the car, is smack dab right in the center, and then you have the speedometer up top. Very wonderful. Great smooth, the seats are comfy. Great sound from that intake. You hear that intake snarl that comes from underneath the hood. It even has this VTEC gauge, which is kind of cool to give you just a little bit more intuitiveness and interaction with the car as you're driving. Now, if you're wondering gas mileage, Vilmos was telling me that around about 24, 25 miles per gallon in the city. So, you know, are you getting hyper mile, 41 miles a gallon? No, but you're getting some really great gas mileage, and you're having a car, that's that F word. No, watch your mouth. F word, fun. This is a fun car to drive. I'm gonna downshift, very slick shifting, just nice and crisp. The throttle, the clutch, it all makes sense in this car, and that's what I like about it. This is a car that's made for an enthusiast. And if you're an enthusiast, like I said, you're not chasing a horsepower number, you're not chasing a 0 to 60 time, you're all about that driving experience. And I think, unfortunately, the direction that we're going in, especially when it comes to electric vehicles, that connection is just not there. And I like still having the connection, especially in this Civic Si. All right, guys, we're driving around. I'm in fourth gear. You go ahead, I'll downshift it into third. It kicks up, 6,000, 6,500, 7,000. It's got the shift lights I like. That's another thing that really adds to the driving experience. Wonderful, wonderful feeling behind this Si. Gearbox is unbeatable. Maybe not as, like I said earlier, as short of throws as, say, a Honda S2000 or a Type R, but still pretty damn good. And I like the size of the shift knob, fits nicely in the palm. Great driving car, comfortable seats. Guess what? We got Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, in the back seat of this thing. And he's actually not feeling too cramped, which is unbelievable because his arms, I can't even wrap my arms around him to give him a hug when I'm really excited to tell him that he's doing a great job. But anyways,
we are going to make a quick U-turn here, and I'll catch you in 1 second. Pulling away here, first gear, into second, smooth. I'm now gonna roll into it, put down the gas, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, shift, wonderful. Just keeps going. Very nice. I'm telling you, this is the type of car that you could drive every single day, and you can have a blast driving it. And it's comfortable. You can take this on a long distance trip and still be able to walk when you get out of the car, which is a nice feeling. Very quiet cabin. You know, Hondas are known for obviously their great use of quality parts when it comes to the interior. So you don't have a lot of air noise and whatnot. And just got the air conditioning blowing. Everything's running great. I like how everything is driver focused here. Great visibility. Out the back, sides, the front, everything's looking good visibility wise there. So I'm very happy about that. And I'm telling you, every time I shift this transmission, it's just a very nice, easy to use gearbox that just makes the whole driving experience that much better. But if you're ready, I'm ready. We're almost back to where we started. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a second.
All right, guys, it's been one hell of a day. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to my old student, my buddy Vilmos, bringing out his 2015 Honda Civic Si. This is his baby. This is his pride and joy. He's bought it since new, and it definitely shows that he takes care of it. And what's wonderful is that in the car world, listen, all cars don't need to have big V8s and have 10,000 horsepower. It's cool to see variety, and that really is the joy that I have doing Raiti's Rides, is bringing this variety of you of people who are true car enthusiasts. If you're a true car enthusiast, you're not a Honda fanboy, you're not a Ford fanboy, you're a car fanboy. And that's what I love about this kind of car, is I can appreciate what it's bringing to the table. That VTEC, that naturally aspirated 7,200 RPM redline. I had so much fun driving it. My first SI I've ever driven, period. I drove a Type R, never drove an SI, so definitely want to give Vilmos a big, huge thank you and a big, huge shout out for allowing Raiti's Rides full access to his SI. If these are the types of cars you like to see on Raiti's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you have not hit subscribe yet, I'm really wondering why you haven't. Tell me in the comments why you haven't subscribed, and I'll answer that comment, but make sure you subscribe first. If you are a subscriber, guess what? Thank you for being on this journey. Thank you for your support. Sky's really the limit. And the reason why I believe it is because of you guys. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for motivating Tom and I. It really means a lot to us, all the great comments and support that you guys give us. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter pages, all Raiti's Rides original content all the time. You definitely want to check those out. We have some new information coming soon about t-shirts. I've been using a crowdfunding site through Bonfire. We're going to be moving away from that. I'm opening up my own merch store on Spreadshirt. I'm going to have hats, hoodies, jackets, the whole shabam, and they're going to get to you a lot quicker than through the crowdfunding site. So stay tuned for that. I want to give a huge thank you. I want to wrap my arms around him, but I can't because his arms are just that big. Big Guns McGee, Thomas Moschner, holding that camera, getting the shots. He's enjoying these cars too. You know, he's a big muscle car fan. I brought him over to the import side of things. He sees how now variety is the spice of life. So great job, Tom, finally really joining the club, becoming a real true car enthusiast, and the best damn cameraman in all of YouTube. I think many of you would agree. Want to give him a shout out for his big powerlifting competition. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.